Good day, everyone. I'm Maria Angelica V. Rivera from Salle College, Antipolo, here at the Philippines, and I would like to virtually welcome all of you at the 7th International Conference on Business Education, Social and Technology 2026. I'm honored to present to you my research study entitled Decoding Relatable Filipino Commercial Ads, the Mediating Role of Emotional and Psychological Appeal on Brand Outcome among the Generation Z fast food consumers. Before we begin, allow me to ask you a quick question. Have you ever watched a Filipino fast food commercial that made you cry, smile, or suddenly miss your family? If yes, then you've already experienced the phenomena this study seeks to explain. In the modern advertising landscape, marketing emphasizes emotional and psychological appeal over purely product information, a shift particularly evident among the Generation Z in the Philippine fast food industry. The study examined the mediating effect of emotional and psychological appeal on the relationship between relatable Filipino commercial and brand outcome. Using a mixed method sequential explanatory design involving 100 respondents aged 18 to 26, the results revealed that emotional and psychological advertising fully mediated this relationship. Qualitative findings further demonstrated that culturally relevant storytelling, emotional narrative, Filipino values are essential in transforming relatable commercial into effective drivers of positive brand outcome. Ultimately, the study emphasizes the importance of culturally authentic and emotional driven strategies and building a stronger consumer brand relationship. Gen Z, mid 1990s to late 2013, is a highly engaged and a tech savvy demographic mostly swayed by digital content, influencers, emotional narrative, and authentic brands. That is based on study of Carta Negara Salam et al. 2024. As for the rational significance and the context of the study, Filipino fast food companies are no longer using only rational or informative ad in today's crowded internet world. Instead, they now present stories that are culturally relevant and emotionally powerful, making people feel happy, nostalgic, love, appreciate sacrifice, and even sense of grief to grab their audience attention. This kind of content triggers make the advertising more memorable and convincing by making people feel more connected to the brand and its product. That is based on a study by Dow 2017. At the same time, there are also commercials that use psychological cues or psychological triggers, such as social proof, like testimonial and being viral or virality, scarcity and urgency, like use of limited time offer and buy one, take one, authority and credibility, endorsers, and celebrity influencers, framing effect like incorporating positive emotional tone and encouragement and perceived belongingness through tradition and language. So adding these things increases repeat purchase and patronage, cited by Escala's 2024. Despite how these strategies are common, there remain a research gap, particularly on the localized Filipino fast food commercials and how they affect the Generation Z, who is the most brand active and digitally immersed generation. The study objectives and statement of the problem. So the study examines the mediating role of emotional and psychological advertisement, which are elicited through culturally grounded themes and real life narrative, mediates the impact of relatable Filipino commercial on brand outcome. So with this, seeks to answer the following question. First, what is the profile of the respondent in terms of the age, the gender, the educational attainment, and the occupation? Second, do emotional and psychological advertising correlate with relatability of Filipino commercial? Third, which emotional and psychological advertising elements in relatable Filipino commercial contribute most to the brand outcome among the Generation Z fast food consumer. And lastly, how does emotional and psychological advertising influence the relationship between the relatable Filipino commercial and the brand outcome in fast food chains? In terms of the research design, the study employed a sequential exploratory mixed method design, combining survey to measure brand awareness, affinity, and emotional and psychological reaction, and focus group discussion to gain a deeper insight into emotional and psychological themes. The participants consisted of Generation Z consumer aged 18 to 26 in Antipolo City, which a total of 100 respondents selected through a purposive or convenience sampling, primarily from a private institution, which consists of a student and personnel as a representative's case study sample. As for the data collection procedure, it is administered through a survey randomly to a qualified Gen Z participants, conducted a focus group discussion for qualitative insight, and ensured that all ethical considerations were observed and informed consents and anonymity. As for the data analysis, included is a descriptive statistics, correlation, regression analysis, and mostly the mediation analysis using the Hayes process macro. To answer the following question, these are the key findings and highlight in terms of the quantitative findings. The research one is about the demographic profile of the respondent. So the study's 100 respondents represent a Generation Z cohort. The demographic profile of the respondent consists primarily of a Gen Z consumers, with the largest age group being 21 to 23 years old, followed by those aged 18 to 20, and the sample is predominantly female and consists largely of college student and personnel. So this profile suggests a respondent base that is highly techie savvy and academically engaged, making them particularly receptive to the emotional and psychological appeal found in modern advertising and fast food commercial. So this demographic composition is ideal for analyzing this aspect as these individuals are highly exposed to digital platforms and modern media strategies. The second question is about the correlation of relatability of commercial and brand outcome. With this, relatability and emotional responses with a value of 0.705 is positively correlated. Using a Spearman-Rowe analysis, the study identified a strong, positive, and statistically significant relationship between the relatability of Filipino fast food commercial and the emotional responses. There is also a moderate positive correlation with brand outcome, which is equals to 0.667, suggesting that relatability enhances brand affinity by mediating cognitive process and emotional engagement. So these findings support the elaboration likelihood method and the theory of recent action, demonstrating that advertisement utilizing narrative, nostalgia, and shared identity effectively address social and esteem need. Ultimately, the results confirm that culturally relevant appeal deepen the personal connection with the brand, leading to improved recall, positive attitudes, and long-term loyalty. To further understand what drives the brand outcome, the study identified which emotional and psychological elements were most effective. Results showed that emotional appeal significantly influenced the brand recognition, while psychological appeal had a strong effect on brand affinity. Emotional elements that resonated most included family values, sacrifice, love, and nostalgia. Psychological elements included testimonial, celebrity authority, storytelling, and social and identity validation. Respondents emphasize that the use of music, suspenseful event, symbolic visuals, and emotionally charged narrative makes the advertisement more memorable. One of the most critical findings of the study emerged from the mediation analysis. Results revealed that full mediation, meaning that relatability alone does not directly influence the brand outcome. Instead, the process follows this path. Relatable content leads to emotional and psychological involvement, which then leads to a stronger repeat purchase and loyalty. Strong driven commercials such as Jollibee Crush Date campaign were cited as the strong examples of how emotional narrative deepen brand recall, attachment, and loyalty. So this confirms that emotional and psychological advertisement functions the core mechanism that transforms relatability into a meaningful consumer brand relations. Further findings, further made quantitative findings also emerge. In terms of the qualitative analysis, one of the findings, the conclusion and recommendations are the elements such as sacrifice, humor, nostalgia, and psychological triggers improve recall and connection. That leads to a conclusion that the combination of an emotional depth and psychological strategy yield stronger brand affinity and memorability. That is why it is being recommended that ads should emerge relatable theme with psychological tactic to build both emotional and cognitive loyalty. This will help the marketers leverage a deep storytelling and use these drivers to inculcate exclusivity, social proof, and relevance to Gen Z's identity. From these findings, three important conclusions emerge. Relatability is a catalyst for effective commercial. Gen Z is a prime market. Emotional and psychological ads serve as the mediator because they enhance the brand recognition and affinity, leading to a stronger purchase intent, repeat patronage, and brand advocacy. Interestingly, the trend is moving away from predictable, celebrity centered toward authentic and a bittersweet narrative that deeply resonate with the Filipino culture. Would you agree that some of the most touching ads are not the flashy ones, but the ones that feel closest to real life? Based on this insight, here are some of their recommendations. For the marketers is to invest in storytelling rooted in Filipino culture and values. And then for business owners and brand manager is to prioritize emotional branding over purely rational appeals in digital campaign. And for the academia is to incorporate consumer psychology and emotional branding into their marketing curricula. So whether you are in the industry, business or research, the challenge is the same. How can we tell a story that not only sell product, but only sell and connect with culture and identity of the Filipino? The study not only helped me to understand the science of consumer behavior, it also helped me realize that the most powerful ads are the ones that make us feel seen, heard, and valued. Thank you for your time and attention, and Animo Lasal.